one of the potential sort of things that sort of keeps us in, much more solid overall as a unit.
Yeah, I mean, in formation wise, we're not really playing a double pivot. We're playing a 4-3-3, and what's happening is that Skip is sitting deep, and then Højbjerg is kind of slightly forward of him on the right hand side, and then Dele is playing much more of a box to box. But Højbjerg is playing that box to box role as well as much as he can.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. There are times when they do double pivot because these formations are so fluid anyway.
Mm.
But it is a different role for Højbjerg this year because he's having to get up the pitch and down, and back
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to help defend. But I think he's a player that's got the quality to do it. He's got
Yeah,
the ability to
yeah.
fight in midfield, and I see this quite similar. I'm not saying we're the same type of team, but I see this kind of arrangement very similar to the way that Klopp sets up Liverpool, where he's
Mm-hmm.
got a very
Mm-hmm.
hard-working 4-3-3 setup, and then what you try and do, and I guess this is the hardest thing, is the link up between midfield, which is very hard-working to attack, and then leave the three attackers to be the ones that do all the damage
Mm-hmm.
up front,
Mm-hmm.
but also get your Delis or your Højbjergs up front as well
Well,
to
Delhi's is a
pick up
new
any.
role as well, isn't it? Really,
Very much so. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I think we're sort of he's done well and sort of could have scored in several other games. Actually, he's been quite
Mm,
close.
mm,
But it's I think time to judge him will be is when he's fully adjusted to that new role.
yeah,
But I think
yeah,
at the moment it's promising. He's up and down, isn't he?
yeah. He is. It's just the way that Nuno's playing at the moment. Really, it's
Mm,
that having to. So, for example, if Reggie goes forward, then Delhi has to come back to cover
mm-hmm.
that hole. Otherwise, we're completely exposed in that
Yeah.
formation. But
Mm.
um, and Delhi, and Højbjerg seem to be doing that really well. Very disciplined. And I haven't seen at any points where we've been completely out of position. There might be situations where we've been right in attack and then we get done on the counter,
Mm.
but we always seem to get back and cover really well. And
It's an
Sanchez,
unusual feeling, isn't it? Because at the
yeah, it
moment,
really is. Yeah,
if you're feeling actually quite confident with the games, because
yeah,
whereas under Mourinho, under the Snide, we
yeah,
sat we sat back as soon as we got a goal. That was it. We just sort of started to sit back, and all of a sudden you think, oh, flipping hell, here we go. We just know what's coming. They're going to throw everything at us, and eventually we'll just capitulate.
yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't seem like that at all.
No,
It's an unusual
no.
feeling to feel. Actually, I think we got this.
Yeah, I
We're
agree.
controlling it mainly.
Yeah, I
Even if they
totally
are
agree.
coming at us a lot, I mean, there
Mm,
were times where Watford were coming at us a fair few, like the same
yeah,
as with Wolves as well. They were coming, but
yeah.
we just felt like when Lloris didn't have to do an awful lot in any of those games, really.
No, he didn't. No, you're absolutely right. I think I can't quite explain it at the moment because we've got the same players, and Mourinho and Nuno seem to be doing kind of a similar thing, but totally
But
differently.
Yeah, but I mean, I might be wrong, but but my impression is the difference is then what we do after. So when we do go ahead, like up to that point,
Mm,
even under Mourinho, we were trying to score, but once we
yeah,
did, then we went safety mode, sat back, and then
yeah,
that invited all sorts of problems. We're still trying to
yes,
go for it, and I know we've only won the
yeah,
Premier League games 1-0 each time,
yeah.
but actually, it's not like we haven't, you know, been full of endeavour and tried.
No, exactly. I mean, yesterday could have quite easily been 3-0. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
Delhi should have
absolutely.
scored, and Kane had two. Uh, well, he had a tap in that just got slightly deflected away. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he never misses those, and then he had that shot through a crowd of players, which could have easily gone anywhere, of course.
Hmm. Hmm.
But in terms of Watford, they had lots of really good approach play with Sarr and Dennis on the
Hmm.
wings, and they were causing us major issues. Dennis was skinning Tanganga
Yeah.
regularly, and I was getting a bit worried for him. But even though that was happening, we were still controlling the shape,
Hmm.
keeping our shape. So even
Hmm.
when they got past us, we were getting back
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and then still stopping them. And
Hmm.
I think they had 2 shots on goal, and I think both of those shots were pretty inane.
I think there's
Nothing for Loris to do.
one that probably Loris had, Dyer sort of had a real sort of had to dive in and
Oh
looks
yeah,
like a
yeah,
last ditch side, but actually probably Lloris was behind it anyway.
yeah. I
But
think he probably was.
but
It was a good
overall,
height.
actually,
Yeah,
I mean, at the beginning of the season, we probably would have thought sell Dyer and Sanchez, and we wouldn't really cared. But actually, they look like they've really formed a good partnership, and they
yeah,
realize, I
yeah.
suppose, Romero is going to be hot on their heels. The two of them look like they're saying, right, we're here to do the business, and they've really surprised me, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. It's I just wonder what Nuno's like in the background because he comes across as such a nice guy.
Mm.
But I've already, heard, as other people probably have, that with certain players, he's told them in no uncertain terms that they're not needed anymore,
And he's
and that's it.
grumpy, apparently.
Yeah, and he won't explain why. He just, it's just the way football is, and he wants, that's the way he wants it to be.
To be honest, that it's got to be that way, I suppose, because he hasn't. He's on a 2-year contract.
yeah,
He hasn't got the time to fanny around really with being
yeah.
everyone's best mate.
No
He's
manager
got
has, have they?
no exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. He's got to sort this out if he wants to earn a new deal. So I
Mm,
mean, the two
yeah,
year deal is probably actually a bit of a masterstroke from Levy because he really hasn't. He's got to earn it straight away.
yeah, yeah.
So
Something to be said about that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No,
Um,
totally
but
agree.
what I mean, last pod we talked about the need for players that are on the eve of transfer window that we could still have some movement there. But I know Steve was saying that he thought we should really get another centre back. But with those two firing like that, I don't. What do you think?
Well, um, it's interesting because Sanchez seems to be like the sweeper in a back four,
Mm,
and Dyer seems to be like the big kind of I'll get in front of everything, and
mm-hmm.
the John Terry type of character, for want of a better person. But Sanchez's distribution this year is is bizarrely brilliant.
Yeah,
He's
really good.
spraying it around. I've never seen him do this before because
Mm-hmm.
he's always looked so nervous on the ball. So that's come from coaching, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
That's come from let's see what you can do, and he's shown them what what he can do, and they're saying, "Well, come on, let's
Yeah,
see more of this."
yeah.
You know,
But it's good that
and
they've not, they changed their opinion because there was a point, wasn't there, where Sanchez looked like he was on his way out the door, as was
yeah,
Tanganga,
yeah,
and they've looked at him and said, "All right,
let's
you're
give
up
him
for
a
this.
chance. Yeah,
We'll give you a chance."
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Mind you,
So,
talking about having chances, what's happened to Lord Lucan?
do you mean
Rodon.
Rodon? Uh, yeah, I don't know what's going on there, and maybe
Strange one, isn't it? It's just like vanished.
yeah, it's a bit like Ndombele though, isn't it? You just think,
Mm.
what's going
But
on there?
is he a, yeah, I mean, I've not heard any whispers that he's a bad egg in the camp.
No, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure
Although
what's going
his
on there.
brother's a bit mouthy online, maybe. I don't know whether the
He's
club's a
a
bit
bit
miffed
over
with
the
that. I
top,
don't know.
isn't he? But yeah, I don't know. I just think that maybe he's just out of favour because Nuno's found the two that he wants, and everybody else is going to have to wait until. It's a bit like Lo Celso, isn't it?
Mm,
He's like a mainstay in the Argentinian side, but he certainly isn't in the Spurs
no.
side.
I don't think we know quite what to do with Lo Celso yet.
Mm, yeah, he should be really because for Argentina he plays in that Dele Alli box
Mm,
to box
yeah.
role. But does he bring more to the game than
Mm.
Delhi? I don't know. It's hard to say really, but at the
Isn't it?
moment, I can't say for sure that he would be better.
No.
And
We
and
spent
what?
decent money on him as well, so you
Yeah,
would have thought that we had a plan for him because with the way the club seems to work and Hitchin, they're not just buying players for the manager; they're buying them for the club with a vision
yeah,
to where they think they will fit in ultimately. But
yeah, which I think is sensible. Yeah,
mm,
definitely that's sensible. But then you have to wonder what Paratici is saying and what involvement he's got in all this because.
Well,
Um,
fucking hell, ref,
I
is one
know,
of the things he was
I
saying, wasn't it?
know.
Apparently.
So, have you ever seen a director of football sitting on the bench
And
before,
I
shouting
love
his
it.
head off?
I
I know,
love it.
I
It's
know.
like it just sends a message to everyone, fans, players, everyone, just saying, we're all in this together.
Yeah,
And normally he could be twiddling his thumbs on his phone in the box somewhere, as we said
yeah,
before, right? I mean, nobody would think any worse of him, but the two of them being down there now is just like saying, actually, we all want this from your director of football, right? And he's like passionately involved. It
yeah.
makes us see that actually he's as
They care.
determined
They care as much.
yeah, about the
Yeah,
direction of this club, and they care, and
yeah,
all of a sudden he's become like he's been a Spurs fan all his life.
yeah. I know, I
Yeah,
know. The funny thing is with him, he's always on the sidelines with his phone before the game. You
yeah.
know, there's footage of it, even if you're not even seeing it in the stadium. And then
Tinder.
yeah, Tinder probably, yeah, yeah. It might be Grinder, I don't know, but
Who
there we are.
knows? Well,
Yeah, who knows? It's this day and age. And then he obviously goes back into the changing room, and he comes out with the team,
yeah.
just after the team, and comes and sits down, in his seat next to Hitchin.
They must have all had a chat about it because you might suspect that Nuno would be like, no, this is
Yeah,
my
what the
bag.
fuck
This
is
is
going
yeah.
on?
Can you just shut the fuck up because like I'm the manager here? But so
Yeah,
they've all
yeah,
must have like had a good
yeah,
chat about it and said, no, 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 top to bottom, this is
yeah,
what we want.
yeah, yeah,
Everyone needs to show passion, as he
yeah.
says, like go beyond.
Yeah, and he seems to be there in the middle of the players, so it's almost like, I want you all around me so you can see what I want you all to
Yeah,
do, and
yeah.
and he seems to be chatting to the players and telling them stuff and instructing them about this, that, and the other. So it is quite interesting. I
Mm,
haven't seen it. I mean, obviously you see other coaches do that, but he's the director of football, and he's
mm, mm.
does
So
he
he
do
must.
this at youth games and under 23s
Don't
or
know, but I suppose
yeah,
he's got more of a sort of hands-on role with the whole thing now, top to bottom,
yeah,
and
yeah,
from the ethos of the club, the way it's run, the communication,
mm,
the youth team, the senior side. So I suppose what he's trying to sort of present is that he's not just a bod in a room on a laptop, just doing spreadsheets.
yeah,
He's living the game as well, and
yeah.
you want to see that, don't you? Really?
You do, yeah. I mean, director of footballs do seem to be a bit of a mystery role, don't they? You
Mm,
think I kind of have this image of them sitting in an office on their phone all day, just trying to talk to scouts and
mm.
not really being involved in the day-to-day kind of running of the football. But obviously, he seems to be quite active and
I'm
around
hoping
the
that when
place.
we get into the Conference League final against Roma, obviously,
Of
that
course.
both of them, Hitchin and also Paratici, are going to be in their cheerleader outfits with pom poms, going up and
Yeah,
down the.
yeah,
Give
yeah.
us an S, give us a P, give us a U.
That'd be fantastic, wouldn't
Yeah,
you? If we met
yeah.
them in the final, that'd be fantastic. Oh,
And
God.
we're gonna. It's written in the stars. We're gonna do that, and we're
Yeah,
gonna pump them and
yeah,
stick one up the snide.
yeah, yeah. The snaky snide. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
he's been saying a few things, hasn't
Oh, have you seen his message today?
he?
Which is
Yeah, I did.
absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
Well, just leave it alone, mate. Just
I know.
it didn't work out. It didn't work out your previous one. Move on.
Yeah, you were
You
shit.
don't
Just
need
move on,
that.
mate. We're not going to
Yeah,
hold it against
exactly.
you.
And
I mean,
of course, he'll say it was, don't know what you're talking about, But
mm,
it's not even a thinly veiled dig at our club, is it?
no, exactly. It's an obvious dig, isn't it?
Mm,
And it's either him or Pep Guardiola, isn't it? The two
yes,
supposed greatest managers of all time are just
two biggest
petulant
snakes
scrub.
going.
Yeah, they are. They are.
I'm just
But there we go.
trying to find that quote actually, what he said, which is here it is. Look, um, I was happy I was coming back to Italy, to a team with proper fans, to a nation that has a huge passion for the game. The people in Italy have a special bond with their clubs. I needed to come back and feel that once again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if he'd acted properly at Spurs, then maybe he would have felt it at Spurs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. We'll just give him until about November, and then the Roma fans will start.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It will
You
just
shits the
all
bed.
it'll all turn sour. So that's fine. Yeah, it always does. Never mind. Yeah. Anyway,
What did you make? I'm just digressing quickly here. What did you make of Watford's keeper?